Hello, welcome to Turn a Stone Tarot. For today's reading, we'll be delving into the forest for inspiration and advice about whatever life matters or most pressing to you at this time. This reading is inspired by the practice of forest bathing. So the intention is to invoke the spirits of the forest, to invoke the forest collective energies, to help soothe you and inspire you and guide you along your path, just as a beautiful hike through a lush forest might do. So I'll be inviting in the various forest collectives. That's everything from the Fae, the Tomta, the tree spirits, the plant spirits, the rock spirits, mushrooms and flowers, just to name a few, to come into our reading today and help invigorate you and your life with their beautiful energies and their wonderful wild wisdom. So let's get into it. We have 3 piles to choose from today. And these are the cards from the Woodland Wardens deck by Jessica Rue. And please feel free to select whichever pile you feel most drawn to, whether that's the number of the pile, the image on the card, or the words on the card. Entirely up to you. We have pile 1, which is the bee and the pomegranate, and the word there is productivity. Pile 2 is the owl and hop, and the word is wisdom. Pile 3 is the mouse and buttercup, and the word is innocence. Timestamps are below, so please click on your timestamp to head straight to your reading. And before we get started, I'd like to extend a thank you to my subscribers. I appreciate those of you who have recently joined the channel. It really helps me to grow, and I appreciate your subscribing, so thank you. And I look forward to seeing you in your reading. Hello, Pile 1. Welcome to your reading. You chose the bee and pomegranate with the word productivity. So right away with this card, I'm getting the sense that work and livelihood and making a living, whatever you do to be productive in your world, is very present within you at this time, very active. I'm getting a sense of sweet and sour here with this pomegranate and bee. The bee, of course, making honey, the pomegranate having that tartness to it. Also, there's a degree of difficulty in extracting the seeds from a pomegranate. So you may be involved in work that's a little bit difficult, or you may be experiencing some difficulty in work. There's this sense of something a little bit difficult here with this combination, I think. So let's get into your cards. Again, I imagine this reading as, you know, the kind of eureka moments you might have if you were taking a walk through the woods. So we're calling on the woodland spirits here today to inform your situation and bring forth some advice and guidance for you here. The first card that came out for you is the Page of Bows, the Stoat, and I see this as your current situation. So from this, I'm seeing that you're very intelligent, you're very passionate perhaps, you have a lot of wonderful ideas, you can be a very enthusiastic person, or there are times when you're very enthusiastic. Perhaps you're enthusiastic about the kind of work that you do, or you have a lot of feeling and inspiration. You have a lot of wonderful ideas that you want to bring into action. And I see you being a very astute, even a little playful here with the stoat. The stoat is a very playful creature. So a lot of really beautiful qualities to you. And I assume this is about your working life. So, you know, you bring a lot of this wonderful energy to your world of productivity and creativity and livelihood. I did ask Spirit for information about the challenge that you're undergoing at this time. And the challenge that came up is the Page of Arrows in reverse. And this is a wren in this deck. And the wren is kind of in snow and it's cold and things are upside down. So what I take from this combination is that, you know, perhaps you had a really wonderful idea at work, or you maybe took on a new job or a new creative project, and you fully expected things to work out really beautifully. But with this Page of Arrows in reverse and the wren upside down, and in snow, I'm feeling that it hasn't turned out to your highest expectations. Things have perhaps disappointed somehow. The idea that you had for how this would go hasn't really panned out with this card coming up in this position. Things just haven't worked out as beautifully as you were hoping, to put it briefly. So that may be a challenge that resonates with you. Perhaps you took on a new job that you thought would be wonderful, and you're maybe not feeling that it's wonderful. Or you've started a new business and you expected things to, go smoothly or nicely, and that simply maybe hasn't been the case. So I'm asking about the basis for this situation, or something that has occurred in the past to kind of cause this to come up. And the Three of Vessels, joy, came out, but it came out in the reverse position. So this card is giving me a lot of things with those three birds there, I think those are cranes. I'm getting gossip, I'm getting chatter, I'm getting exclusion here with that wren left out in the snow next to the Three of Vessels. It's as if a group of people have maybe banded together against you, like that sense of triangulation where people kind of take sides against you. I definitely get the sense of someone working behind your back against you. This isn't a very nice position for this card, I'll be honest. The joy is upside down. I get the sense that, perhaps you had joyful hopes for whatever this arena of work or livelihood or productivity was. And it's all been, turned on its head by perhaps these three individuals, or a group of individuals as depicted in this card. So I asked Spirit about your power in the situation, and we got the Two of Vessels, attraction. So again, we're seeing this flaming heart, we're seeing passion. With water there, I'm getting a lot of emotion. You have these like beautiful emotions. There's water in both of those cards. The Page of Bows has a little waterfall underneath, and we've got the water coming down in the Two of Vessels. So I get the sense that you have these like beautiful, full emotions that you bring to your work. So that is a real power that you possess. I'm hearing alchemy. You really have a wonderful gift for bringing ideas together, bringing people together, perhaps, bringing concepts together, relating to different kinds of people. Definitely this sense of sort of togetherness. I'm getting a sense of peacefulness as well. You may be a more peaceful kind of person. You like to forge agreements between different parties. That's coming through as well with this combination here. So you really have a lot of beautiful things working for you. I asked about the effects of others in this situation, and we got the Six of Stones, exploitation. So immediately with this card, I heard underpaid. So that'll apply to someone out there, underpaid. I'm getting the sense that maybe you have a lot of beautiful ideas, a lot of passion for your work. You bring a lot of heart and energy and fire to what you do. And with this card, you're paid peanuts, and maybe it's even difficult to make ends meet here with this image on the card. I was also fascinated by the fact that we have the bee in this card, and then this card shows torn beehives, so that these beehives in this card are kind of coming unraveled. And the beehive usually symbolizes like some kind of collective. So you may have joined a company where you were expecting, some beautiful camaraderie and teamwork and kinship. And with the cards falling in these positions, you probably have experienced quite the opposite here. It's, this is not a beautiful picture of teamwork here in the Six of Stones card. This is things unraveling, things coming apart, teams not thriving. And then with that Three of Vessels and those birds upside down, a stealing joy almost. I get the sense that whatever workplace you may have been in was not a happy environment for you, did not support you, not even financially here with the imagery on this card. So that may apply to your situation. I did ask Spirit also about your desired outcome and hope for this situation. And we got the Kingfisher, the King of Arrows. I love the image on this card. You have a lot of birds in your reading, so the bird spirits from the forest world are kind of coming in for you. I don't know if birds resonate for you, if you're a bird watcher or bird lover, but a lot of birds in this reading. But here, it's interesting to me how this is, this is the much more empowered and thriving image of that page of arrows, the wren upside down in the snow. Here we have the kingfisher soaring above the lake here. So same elements, but totally different environment. So that's the sense that I'm really getting from your reading is, you want to be able to bring this passion, these ideas, this intellect that you have, and you want to be able to soar with it. You want to have all of your beauty and imagination and creativity mirrored back to you, as we can see with this image of the lake here. You want to be able to fly free and hit your target, as it were. The kingfisher is known for kind of, hitting its mark when it dives into the water. So you want to be able to do this as well, and in an environment that, supports you and reflects positively back to you all of the beautiful qualities that you innately possess. So that is a beautiful hope to have, and the woodland spirits have some advice for you to get back to that place in your life. The advice cards that came out for you, the first one is Strength. And it says, when your roots are deep, you need not fear the storm. So I'm getting a few things from this. I'm getting that grounding exercises would be very good for you right now. So what that means, like putting your feet on the earth, if that's at all possible where you live. Or if you do yoga at all, there's some poses that are very grounding. I'm thinking of like frog pose. Anything you can do to kind of feel the earth beneath you and feel your connection to the earth is going to really help you at this time. I get the sense that this difficulty that may have shown up in your work life has maybe resulted in a sense of insecurity. And so the woodland spirits are recommending that you reclaim your sense of security by doing these grounding exercises. If you can actually get to a forest, they would love that for you right now. That would be a very grounding activity for you to do. But there are other ways that you can kind of experience your connection with the earth as well. They're also suggesting, I'm hearing something about ancestry. So, whether it's remembering or reflecting on your ancestry. Maybe you have ancestors that do the kind of work that you're engaged in, or did the kind of work that you are engaged in. Maybe you come from a family that has, skills and a basis in this kind of work that you want to do. I'm hearing that. I'm also getting deep thinking. You may be a deep thinker. And just to consider your deep thinking nature as well in relation to all of this. But they are asking you to address matters of insecurity. You may be feeling some insecurity right now. So look at those areas in your life where you do have strength and you do have stability and security, whether that be in family members, in friends, in loved ones, in pets even. In a roof over your head, or financial resources possibly, wherever you have strengths outside of this destabilizing work situation, really acknowledging and honoring those areas of your life are going to be helpful at the present time. I asked for additional guidance from the woodland spirits, and they came through with joy, and we have, I just touched it, joy upside down in your reading here. So they really want you to get back to this joy. They're telling me that you're an innately joyful being, that you've been separated from this a little bit through this, whatever has occurred here. But joy is very innate to who you are. We can see the playfulness of this stoat. So they would like for you to really focus your attention on joy at the present time. This card says, spread seeds of joy like a wildflower, and no doubt you will revel in the result. So not only do they want you to focus on those moments of joy that you may experience throughout your day, but they'd like you to expand on it as well, and to expand on it with others. I got the example of, perhaps someone out there works in a coffee shop, and maybe your favorite moment of your shift is when customers smile at you when you give them your coffee. And so they're saying, perhaps you've seen 2 customers smile. Can you make a 3rd customer smile somehow, maybe through words or by smiling at them, or doing a little small something for them, writing a nice message for them on a napkin or something like that. Look for those tiny opportunities that you might have throughout your day to spread the joy just a little bit further. And the woodland spirits are saying this is going to go a long way towards just increasing ever so gradually the amount of joy that's available to you in your life, because it looks like it has been upset by this current circumstance. You may have had somebody working against you behind your back, and it's had an effect on your ability to tap in to your natural joy. And then the final card of advice that came out for you from the woodland spirits is the Sun card. And this card says healing energy, happiness, comfort, and joy. And oh my gosh, I was so surprised when I saw joy come out for the 3rd time. So joy is really a major way that the woodland spirits want you to heal through this experience. Even getting more sun may help you to have more access to joy as well. Doing it safely, of course, but just being exposed to sunlight may help to lift your spirits at this time. But they really want to remind you that you are this sort of bright soul, this bright, passionate soul, and happiness is your birthright. And you will return back to a state of happiness, but they're encouraging you to find moments of joy throughout your day, to expand on those moments of joy, and to look to the sun, look to light and positivity as a way to help you navigate through the pain of this circumstance and get to a situation like the King of Arrows and the Kingfisher, where you can soar once again with your natural abilities, your natural prepositions, your natural dispositions, I should say, and the natural gifts that you were born with. And you were intended to use these gifts in the world. So it looks like there may have been a temporary setback here that has left you feeling as if you're perhaps doubting your place in the world, perhaps doubting your abundance here with the bee and the pomegranate. But you are indeed entitled to all the abundance that the sun has to offer. So they hope to return you to this place, and joy will be the road that you travel in order to get there. So pile 1, that is the reading that I have for you today. Comment down below if this resonated for you. I'd be curious to know if the work-life issue is indeed one that you are dealing with at the present time, and if you found this reading helpful. I wish you all the best in your future endeavors, and I wish you much joy in your future. So thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you next time. Hello, pile 2. Welcome to your reading. You chose the owl and hop, and the word on that card is wisdom. Immediately with this card, I was feeling a depth to this reading. I was also feeling that you're somebody who's likely very comfortable with spirituality, You may have a spiritual practice of your own, or likely multiple spiritual practices that you engage in. You're somebody who's very comfortable kind of spending time considering the world beyond what the physical eyes can see. This card shows a lot of wisdom. It may also indicate maturity. So you may be somebody who identifies as a mature person, or you can also be a younger person who simply, you may have that sense that you feel wise beyond your years. But there's a lot of depth to this reading. I was also directed by the Woodland spirits to pull a rune for you, and the rune that came out was the Now These rune. And the Now These rune speaks about needs. I think of them as emotional needs largely, but what kinds of needs do you have in this current space that you're inhabiting? It is also kind of a rune of transformation and cycles, and the rune has some very nuanced meanings, but those are the first two that immediately leapt to mind. So let's get into your cards. I asked for Spirit to clarify your situation, and the card that came out for you was the Hooded Man. So this would be the Hermit card. Oh, it's a little slippery. This would be the Hooded Man in traditional decks, or I'm sorry, the Hermit in traditional decks. And yes, I can see here, this is somebody who is very comfortable going within, or maybe you're currently going within. This is also, it could also indicate you may be experiencing a dark night of the soul of some kind. You may be spending a lot of time alone. You may be really looking for answers. All of these things are indicated in this card here. It's interesting, for the very first time, I've never looked at this card this particularly closely. And I'm noticing a lot of Christmas imagery here. There's a wreath over the door with some red berries on it. And it looks like there's a holly pattern on the cloak that the Hooded Man is wearing. So I know this reading is going up in December. I don't know if this December is meaningful for you, if this Christmas is meaningful for you. With this imagery here, I do get the sense it could be like perhaps the first Christmas you're spending alone. That's one potential interpretation. Or, maybe something significant happened to you around Christmas time that's kind of put you in this hermit phase that you may currently be undergoing. That's some of the imagery that's coming off for me right now. I did also ask Spirit about the challenge that you're facing here in your current situation, and you got the Seer card, which would be the High Priestess in traditional decks. This is fascinating to me as a challenge card. Again, it kind of really speaks to that deep spiritual awareness that you perhaps have cultivated, especially with these two cards side by side here. I see this in the challenge position as you may be caught in a cycle of looking for answers, but perhaps not feeling that they're coming. I get the sense that you have perhaps been in this hermit phase for a little while. Maybe it's even started to feel like it's an extended while. And you're looking, very deeply to Spirit for answers, to your own self and soul for answers. You're really tuning in to what Spirit is saying. And yeah, you may get the sense that you're kind of going around and around and not necessarily finding the enlightenment you seek here with this coming up in the challenge position. I did ask for the basis of this situation. So what has caused, this hermit phase that you may be experiencing to occur? And I got the wheel. This, of course, would be the Wheel of Fortune in traditional decks. And this could be a number of things, but again, these are all major arcana. I'm seeing major life change. Some major life change has likely occurred here. Perhaps you have left a job or a career. This is really kind of speaking more to a career change. Perhaps if you're a younger person, maybe you left home and you are starting out on your own. You maybe have lost a partner or a sibling or a parent, and you're now having to navigate the world without this significant person in your life. Lots of very large life changes are indicated here with the wheel, and especially, with the presence of the hooded man and the seer in this row. Something very significant has occurred, and I feel like that is what you are kind of working through right now, using spirituality, using your spiritual practices, turning inward, turning to spirit, really seeking answers at this time. I did also ask the woodland spirits, what is your power in this situation? What agency do you have with this? And the card that came out is the Nine of Vessels, and the word is generosity. So beautiful card. And again, we have, the image of a yogi or a meditating figure here. I'm getting, maybe you're somebody who works with singing bowls potentially, or the chalices are really sticking out to me here. Maybe you have some kind of religious practice that involves the chalice. Certainly meditation is strongly indicated here. So again, kind of speaking to this spiritual practice as perhaps a foundation for you right now in your life. And generosity is really a beautiful quality to have. And Spirit is saying that you have this very much so. You're definitely, while you may be looking in for answers right now, you're very comfortable with sharing your knowledge, sharing your spirit, sharing your energy with other people. Maybe you're an energy healer or something like this. But that is the agency that you do possess. I also ask Spirit, what is the effect of others in this situation? So, how have others affected you, or are others affecting you at this time? And the card that came out for that is the Ten of Bows, responsibility. So, whatever has occurred here, I see that you've had to take on more responsibilities as a result. And with all of these spiritual cards here, the yogi and the hermit and the priestess, I get the sense that you're somebody who's not necessarily comfortable dealing with the mundane and practical matters of earthly life. But it looks like you may well be in a position right now where you're having to find your way through these things. And it's rather a heavy burden here with the Ten of Bows. So that may be affecting you at this time as well. I did ask Spirit for your desired outcome, or what is hoped for in this situation. And very interesting card to show up here, the King of Stones, the wolf. So again, another sort of masterful figure here, the King of Stones. But I thought it was very interesting as a counterpoint to the Hooded Man card. They look like they're in just about the same, setting or season. They're both in kind of snowy environments. Um, but the hooded man, is facing down. We can't see the man's face. He's kind of hidden a little bit. Whereas this wolf is sort of out in the moonlight, baying at the moon. And I think of wolves as they're comfortable alone. Certainly, they can be comfortable alone, but they also like to run with the pack sometimes. Um, so with this in the desired outcome and hopes position, I see that you would perhaps like to be able to extend yourself outward and enjoy times of community sometimes, or also to be on your own when it suits you. But you'd like to be able to have that balance. Whereas I think the situation you may currently find yourself in could be quite solitary indeed, without a lot of balance of others. I also see you being more expressive here in this desired outcome card. The hooded man, the seer, and even this seated figure in the Nine of Vessels. These are all very quiet cards. And with this as the hope, I think your soul would like to express itself some more, whether that's expressing it vocally, and that could be a number of things. That could be through singing, or maybe, wailing openly, or speaking about your experience. It could even indicate things like writing. You could, verbally express yourself through writing, any number of things here. But I get the sense that, your desire, or there's at least a subconscious desire, perhaps, to be more expressive about this experience that you're going through. I think of the owl and the hop as a card that points to some kind of fulfillment that you have had in the past. So perhaps you had a job that you loved, or a partner that you cared deeply for, or a parent that you were very fond of. There's been some form of fulfillment in the past. And because of this change, perhaps that's no longer available to you. And you're really looking for a way to find fulfillment again in the absence of this. So it's very understandable that you would be in this solitary time. That is kind of the natural progression of our lives. When cycles change, we tend to draw inward to find our center again. And I'm getting the sense that the wheel is beginning to turn for you, or the woodland spirits are encouraging you to lean on the wheel a little bit, perhaps, and start that outward journey when you're ready, of course, in your own time, and it'll be different for everyone. So I did ask the woodland spirits for advice for you, and the first card that came out for you is change. It says, falling leaves do not signify the end, but the beginning of a fruitful season. So again, this card is really echoing the theme of this reading about being able to find a new beginning in face of this change that you have undergone. You may have been in a period where you've been grieving the loss of whatever previous situation you were in. And this reading is just encouraging you to begin to just very ever so gently, begin to try to feel into the possibilities of new life experiences, and a new life that awaits you after this change. The next card that came out for you is the card of transform. It says, emerge with beauty and grace from your cocoon. And it's a little stunning how similar these two cards are to change and to transform. This card really has a very strong theme. So again, it's that sense of things changing, things transforming, things becoming something new, getting comfortable with perhaps a new reality. Maybe beginning to emerge from this cycle of perhaps grief or loss, or just dealing with some kind of life upheaval, by finding the new positive ways that you can begin to build a new life for yourself based on the reality that exists today. And then I drew another card for you from the Woodland Spirits. And the card that came out was Chamomile. It says gentleness, relaxation, and sleep. So with this card, I'm hearing to take it very slow, very gently. Again, I'm really getting this sense of convalescence, a sense of needing to move very slowly out of this cycle that you've been in. To take your time, to be gentle, to relax, to sleep when you need to. It's very important to sort of nurture your body, nurture your mind, nurture your spirit at this time, as you begin to slowly kind of wake up from this perhaps more hermit phase that you've been in, and begin to imagine ways that you can bring more liveliness and vitality back into your life, given that your life may now look quite different than it once did. I'm also hearing from Spirit. Spirit is encouraging you to take a short journey. So and I see with the wolf card here, I think of wolves sort of traveling over the plains, looking for their supper. So you may be someone who could benefit by taking a short journey. Maybe even a meditation retreat, a yoga retreat, a religious retreat of some kind. Just getting a change of scenery could be very good for you and could help you kind of discern ways that you might introduce some newness to your life. I'm also hearing to seek out information that will help you to, you perhaps may be sort of stuck in this period of questioning, but the spirit guides are saying that if you look for information about new communities that you can engage with, new places, new people, new activities. By just beginning to seek out the information, you don't necessarily need to jump into action, but just seeking out information can help you start to build this ladder again. When I think of the hop vine is a really robust vine. It can grow up to 20 feet in a single season. It's really an amazing plant. So I think you very much have the potential to ladder out of this fallow period that you may be in, and see life from a different perspective once again. But do take your time. All right, pile 2. That is the reading that came forward for you today from the Forest Collective. I hope you enjoyed this reading. If any of this resonated for you, I would be grateful if you could let me know down below in the comments. It's always helpful to hear where the readings are resonating with viewers. So if you could lend a comment, that would be very kind. I thank you for your time and attention, and I wish you all the best in your future, and I will see you next time. Hello, pile 3. Welcome to your reading. You chose the mouse and Buttercup, and the word on that card is innocence. So again, the idea of this reading is to imagine that you're walking through a beautiful forest. It can be any kind of forest your imagination desires. It could be a lush rainforest or a beautiful pine forest, any kind of forest at all. And the reading will call forth kind of the ideas, the soul questions that would come up for you as you're walking through the forest. And then we'll get some ideas from the forest spirits, the forest collective, for how you might want to proceed as you navigate whatever it is that's coming up for you today in this reading. So let's get started. The mouse and the buttercup immediately as the theme for your reading suggests new beginnings. So you may feel that a new life cycle is starting. You're wanting to launch something new. You're wanting to be a new person almost in a new way here. You're very much at the start of some new precipice. So you may have this feeling that an old cycle has ended, and now you're standing in this place of beginning. I did ask Spirit to clarify your current situation, and the card that came out for you for that question was the Mirror. And with this, I'm getting that you're really pausing and reflecting. This is not the kind of new beginning that you're leaping into. You're really thinking deeply about this next chapter of your life. You may be kind of mulling things over. You may be kind of drawing into your own inner intuition, really figuring out in a very deep way, in almost a spiritual way even, what you need from this next cycle of life going forward. This is very much a card of drawing inward, getting new ideas, new visions, new sensations about what may work for you going forward here. So interesting card there. I asked for your challenge in the current situation, and the card that came out is the Shaman. So this card tells me, again, it really echoes this sense of, really going inward. I get the sense that this may be a solitary phase for you here with these two cards side by side. You may want to begin a new spiritual practice. I even, got the sense you may be wanting to study tarot or study yoga or meditation or perhaps a new spiritual practice. You might be embarking on a spiritual journey of some kind here with these cards coming out initially in your reading. But you're very much kind of a beginner, and I think you have a desire to master this realm. But the challenge is you're at the very beginning stages of it. So you may have some doubts about, is this the right thing to study? Am I doing the right thing? Is this something that I have an aptitude with? Am I skillful at this, or will I be skillful at this? There may be some questioning going on with this coming up in the challenge position here. Or you may be struggling to bring things into reality as well. You may be kind of very much in the idea phase of this new beginning, and so this hasn't yet become the time for manifestation. So that's a possible interpretation of this reading as well. I did ask for the basis of your current situation. What has happened to create this new situation for you, or this current situation? And we got the 9 of Vessels in reverse, and the word on this card is generosity. So immediately when I got this card, I heard taken advantage of. So you may have been in some kind of situation where you felt taken advantage of. I'm thinking of workplace situation, perhaps, some kind of relationship, perhaps to other people, where your gifts and abilities and time and energy were taken advantage of somehow. But at any rate, this points to a lack of fulfillment, certainly. So the reason that you're beginning this new life cycle or beginning this new phase is because you have been unfulfilled in some way. And this is putting you on a new path, as it were. And this is so often how life goes. We can't find our fulfillment on one path. And so, we must choose another path in order to seek our fulfillment. So that's what the cards are pointing to here. I also asked Spirit for your power in the situation. And I got the empowerment card. And I have to tell you about this card. It took a very long time to show itself. So from that, I'm getting you may have some difficulty tapping into your power at the present time. That could be something that's happening for you. There may be, maybe because of what has occurred with this unfulfilling situation, there could be a lack of self-confidence or issues of self-worth that may have arisen for you as a result of this. But this empowerment card was definitely very slow to show itself. So there's definitely a delay in the feeling of empowerment. And it's interesting, empowerment was the answer to the question of what is your power. So I think what the cards are telling us is the answer is to tap into your power. You certainly do have agency and you can be effective in this world. And you may need to sort of find your source of power again. I even had a bodily reaction as I was choosing this card. I felt like a sense of warmth, and when I get a strong sense of warmth in that way, I'm always alerted that there's maybe some anger that's kind of lingering, but it's a repressed kind of anger. So you may have had to repress feelings of anger, and perhaps in the process of this repression, it's distanced you from your sense of power. I think that's something that can commonly occur. With all of these spiritual cards here, the mirror and the shaman, and there's even a yogi depicted, or a meditator depicted in this 9 of Vessels card. Often in these very spiritual communities, the emotion of anger is not a welcome visitor. And we're often, and courage not to display our anger or even feel our anger in some cases. Although anger is a very human emotion and it's very natural to us, especially whenever we're feeling, threatened in small or large ways, feelings of anger can come up. But you may have been in an environment where you weren't allowed to be angry. This could even be pointing to childhood conditioning. But I get the sense that there's maybe some repressed anger that has caused some disruption with your relationship to a sense of empowerment. So that'll be for someone out there. That is what came through on this card. I did also ask Spirit about the effects of others on you and your situation, and the card that came out was the Three of Vessels, Joy. So this is interesting. This is one of these sort of positive cards that where we can get a little hung up though. It's not always the negative things that hang us up. It can be the positive things as well. So from this card, I take that you have likely experienced great joy and great fulfillment in the past. You may have been in a past life phase or life cycle where you did experience joy and you were very happy with the circumstances that were around you, with perhaps the work that you were doing. You may have been happy with how you felt about yourself, happy with your colleagues or your family members or your friends, happy with your community, perhaps with the Three of Vessels here. So you have had these experiences of joy in the past, and I think you're wanting to return to that state of joy here. This is very much kind of driving you. You're wanting to recapture that sense of joy that you may have had at one time in your life. You're wanting to get back there again. With this unfulfillment coming out in your reading, it's something maybe that you had hopes of joy for, that joy is no longer available, and you're wanting to get back to that with this card coming up here. I also asked Spirit for your desired outcome, your hope in the situation. And the card that came out as your desire here is the Eight of Bows, Hearthfire. So beautiful card. This, I'm getting a sense of community, a sense of good times, especially with it coming next to the Joy card here. I'm getting that you have hopes to be part of a robust collective where there's a lot of sharing, there's a lot of warmth, there's a lot of connection. Just a really beautiful community. And again, looking at that top row and all those singular figures, you may be at a point in this new beginning where you haven't found your community yet. That's not something you're currently experiencing, and you're really looking within for answers to how to cultivate a beautiful community again, how to be part of a beautiful community again. So let's ask the Woodland spirits, the Forest Collective, what they would like to bring forward for you in terms of advice for how you can navigate this new beginning that you're in. And the first card that came out, the words are "let go." And it says, "Enjoy the pulsing light of the firefly, but don't hold on too tight." So interesting that card came out, especially with this Three of Vessels, Joy, on here. I am getting the sense that, there may be a bit of clinging to an energy of, oh, it was so good in the past. So it may be difficult for this new beginning to come in because you may be sort of clinging to those fond memories of the past, perhaps a little bit too tightly. So they're really encouraging you to look at the flow of life and to really consider, yes, there were good times in the past, and those were beautiful, and you can appreciate them as such. But it's okay to let them go. You can go forward with the expectation that you will have beauty and joy in your life again. The second word that came out for you is the word flow. And it says, "Go with the flow as water trickles down a stream. Do not hurry." And wow, it's as if they put this first card in words here. I think there's really a strong connection between your mirror card here and this flow card. You can see the stream here. I often think, this is the boat with somebody who's drifting downstream to the healing island. So you may need to kind of let life fold, let it unfold rather, let it flow, let things and events carry you on to this next phase of life here. And it seems like you're exactly where you should be here with the mirror coming out as your position. You're in this point of pause, and the card is encouraging you not to hurry. So, it's good that you're taking this time to reflect and consider and, really just absorb and process what has come before this new cycle, so that the new cycle that you're beginning has all the richness and the benefits that you've garnered from the previous cycle. Also, I asked for additional cards for you, advice from the Woodland spirits, and the card that came out is Butterfly, Transformation, Joy, Beauty, Transience. Again, this word joy coming up for you. I think joy is something that you really deeply crave in your heart. And, they're asking you to be hopeful that you will have joy in your life again. You may be in, a place right now where it's a little more difficult to access joy as you have known it in the past. But it is on the horizon for you with this butterfly card coming out. And of course, we can't ignore that this is the card of transformation. So again, like echoing the fact that one cycle has closed out for you and this new cycle is very much beginning. It also has the word transience on here. So going back to these cards, just accept that life moves in these cycles. There are the good times, the warm times, the connected times, and then there are times when we need to be more introspective and really align our center once again. So, be patient with that cycle and do not feel the need to rush it in any way. The next card that came out for you as advice is the B card here. It says community, cooperation, and sweetness. And again, we're really getting a sense of, I believe that community is very important to you here with the Hearthfire card coming out, and then we're seeing the bee. And the hive to me is always a symbol of a collective, and with the words community coming on this card. Also, I'm seeing the yellow here in all of these cards. We've got the Buttercup, a very yellow flower. The Nine of Vessels card has a lot of yellow in it. There's this yellow golden fire and the Hearthfire card, and of course the yellow in the bee card. And to me, the yellow represents the third chakra. That is our place of power, our place of personal power. So I think this chakra, this energy center, is very important to you at this time, that you sort of develop this inner power, this sense of being able to direct your life and take it where you want to go and find your fulfillment in it here with the Hearthfire. And also, I think the Woodland spirits are also saying that there is a community for you. You may be at a point in your life now where you're wondering if you'll ever find this community. But the Woodland spirits are saying, you are meant to live in community and in cooperation. You are meant to experience the sweetness of life. And this very much can be recreated in the new life cycle that you're entering. So my beautiful pile threes, that is the reading that I have for you. I hope you enjoyed this little walk through the forest. Comment down below, let me know what you thought of this reading. I'm curious if you liked this format, and also if any of this resonated for you. If you're willing to share, I'd love to hear about it in the comment section down below. Thank you again for your time and attention. I really appreciate you tuning into my channel. I hope you will consider subscribing so that I can share more readings like this with you. And I hope you have a wonderful future. I wish you all the best, and I will see you next time.